Hit me.
Good evening and welcome to the Positive Sports Podcast. I'll be your host this evening, Ed Montana. Alongside me today, my most reasonable sports take friend, my brother from the same mother.
Yes.
Alex, how are you today, buddy?
I'm doing great, but you know what? It doesn't matter how I'm doing.
Okay, I'd agree with that because I don't give a shit.
I know the fans probably don't either.
No, I'm ready to go, man.
I know you are.
So tell me what you got to tell me, and let's roll with this thing.
Well, I gotta tell you and the fans that this is episode number 61 of the Positive Sports Podcast, and we are a day away from the birthday of the podcast.
That's right. February 5th, 2018 was
That's
our
right.
first podcast. Do you remember that podcast?
I sure do. I was as stiff as a freaking fence board because I was so nervous. I'm camera shy to begin with, and yeah, I was just a nervous wreck. Inside, I mean, I don't know I don't know if I was more nervous doing the first episode or when I lost my virginity. I swear, bro. It was bad both times.
That's what she said. I tell you what, I remember that first podcast, and I remember sweating. I don't remember what I was wearing, but I remember that when I took it off, at least the back, right? The front did, but the back was soaking wet when I was done. And you actually, I thought, did good on that first podcast. It was that episode 0, that introductory episode where we told everyone what we were going to do and who we were. That one, you were stiff as a board. I mean, you were just like...
Yeah, I mean... It actually took me...
And I was as well.
It took me a few episodes, a handful, to really get used to this. I mean, you know, like...
And now it's so much fun.
It is.
It's so much fun. And now we're getting into year 2, and we've talked about a lot of different things, doing a lot of different things. But I think this year we really need to start pushing the envelope. We got kind of, I won't say we got stale, but we kind of got comfortable doing this sports talk and whatever.
Right.
Now we're hitting year 2. I want to push it. I want to do some outlandish shit. Like, I want to just get like some fucking random person on the show and talk to them about their job or some crazy shit like that, which we've been talking about doing. Yeah. And I got someone quasi lined up.
Well, you got the contacts, so.
And then another thing I want to do, and we may do this, I want to take this puppy on the road.
That would be cool.
Like,
I don't know.
The first thing we should do is take it to your house. Right? That's fair. And then I want to take this fucker on the road.
That would be cool.
Because think about it. Like, one of the cool things about what we do, just to give the fans a little bit of a look behind the curtain, we don't edit.
At all. This is raw footage right here.
It is the final product and the raw footage is exactly the same.
And guess what? We're not going to edit.
No, we're not going to edit.
Unless, of course, we make it.
No, we're not going to edit.
You're right. Fuck it. We're not going to edit.
No, I still think I still think this is the best way to do it.
I just fucking do it.
And we do one take, right?
Yeah.
Again, just to give you guys a little look behind the curtain. I ask him if he's ready. He says yes. I pick up my cup of coffee. I hit record. And that's it.
Action.
And there have been times where we've done this thing and like 10 minutes in, I'm like, this sucks.
Yeah. And
we go anyway.
That's the first take and the final take right there.
Cut.
Well, now that we got that out the way,
yeah,
let's get into it because it's the Monday after.
The day after. Was it me or was traffic incredibly light this morning?
It was light.
Like, it almost felt like a freaking holiday. We talked about this on the very first episode.
That's right.
The day after the Super Bowl should be a holiday.
and it still should be.
And I think it stuck with some people because traffic was fucking light today. Not that I'm complaining because...
I'll take it.
I hate it. But traffic on the way home was just as bad as always. But this morning, I think a lot of people played hooky.
That or just moving a little slower than normal.
Did you do a whole bunch of drinking for the game?
Just me and a glass of water.
That's
I
it.
I was chilling.
Yeah, I was pretty good too. All I did was eat. And I mean, I ate everything. Jesus Christ. There's something about a big football game that makes me hungry.
Well, yeah. Yeah, there's just... That's the beauty of the Super Bowl, man. You know?
Like, I've watched... You and I both, we've watched big events and big games from other countries, right? Like,
right.
We've watched the World Cup final. Obviously, we've watched the Stanley Cup finals and the World Series and the NBA finals, the MLS final, the Champions League final over in Europe, the African Nations Cup final. I mean, I've watched cricket, the World Cup of cricket.
Yeah, I ain't watching cricket.
Rugby. I mean, I've watched all kinds of finals. Right. The production of the Super Bowl is incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, what we do here for the Super Bowl, it's insane. It is absolutely insane. And for all of the pissing and moaning, people are complaining about Maroon 5 wasn't very good, blah, blah, blah. That performance by Maroon 5 blows away what you see at the halftime show of the Rugby World Cup, for example, or the Asian Soccer Championships, or whatever other event there is. It blows it away. It is amazing, the production that we do here for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Second to none.
It's a reason it's like 30 minutes long.
Oh, yeah. it's and quite frankly, I liked it. I didn't like the fact that they didn't like fuzz out his nipples like they did Janet Jackson's.
You actually watched the halftime show?
Dude, for the Super Bowl, I watched the game. I watched the commercials. I watched the halftime show. And I watched the post-game show right up until the point they go, "Thank you for joining us." Yeah. I watched the whole fucking thing. I don't go piss. I don't go... At the kitchen, I can still see the TV from the kitchen, so right. I walk back there and grab some food while I'm looking back at the TV. I watch it all. I love it, man.
I gotta tell you, man, I skipped out on the commercials. I skipped out on the halftime show. Although the halftime show, I thought it would have been really, really dope if Big Boy, one half of Outkast, would have brought out Andre 3000.
That's what I was hoping too.
I was really expecting that. I was like, okay, maybe this might be a little surprise.
I was hoping for that surprise as well.
So I guess the halftime show for me was a little bit of a letdown. But like I said, I just happened to catch the end part, and it was just I really didn't go in on the commercials.
I like, most people didn't like the halftime show. I liked it. I thought it was good. Admittedly, I like Maroon 5, and I'm a straight man. But, I thought it was a good show. It wasn't the best show ever, but it wasn't bad. People are ripping it.
Wonder why they're called Maroon 5. Is there 5 members on the group?
I don't know. None of them are maroon either. They're all white.
Weirdos.
I don't know. It's kind of cool, though.
No?
It was cool. The whole thing was cool. What was your favorite commercial? You didn't watch the commercial.
I honestly, I didn't watch.
I will admit that the day after, I have a hard time remembering the commercials.
There's so many.
There's so many of them. The avocado one was good. Again, the avocado commercials are always good.
I mean,
I always love the Budweiser commercials.
Yeah.
They've got the Clydesdales. They've got the dog now. I love it. It's all good stuff.
Now the one with the NFL players in there, that one was. Oh,
the NFL
cool.
100.
Oh, yeah, is that what it was?
That was awesome.
That was pretty cool.
And especially for people.
I mean,
like
there was
me
more action in that commercial than in the Super
actual
Bowl.
game. That I loved it. Seeing all of those old guys and young guys, and they're tearing up this place, and it all started with what's his name? The guy from the
Marshawn Lynch.
Marshawn Lynch trying to stick his finger in the cake.
And now,
just something I could see him doing.
Now, just for the record, Saquon Barkley was the only one to get away. He's the only one that didn't get tackled or fumble the ball.
Well,
quick shout out to you, Saquon.
He was the Rookie of the Year.
He was. That's right. The only bright spot of the Giants season. What?
Kind of like the outcome of yesterday's game. I called it.
I guess. I did too. I had the Patriots winning.
Yeah, but you had them winning by like 3. I said Patriots by double digits.
Yeah, but when you say that 2 weeks ago or last week
and yesterday,
you're thinking a blowout.
They beat them by 10.
Yeah, that's
double
not.
digits.
Yeah, that game was too much of a snooze fest to be a blowout and make your double-digit prediction seem like, oh my god.
Hey, let me tell you something. If I had teased it in Vegas, Patriots minus 9.5,
Yeah.
would they have paid me or not?
Well, yeah.
They would have called me a winner, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's all that matters, buddy.
Oh, well.
I didn't tease it.
Well, you should have
I
just
did-
picked it out right.
I did, however, call Patriots minus 2.5, I think was the number, and under 56.
It was well under 56.
Yeah. At halftime, I was like, this is going to be close.
Yeah. So,
Let's get into the game.
did you enjoy this game? Because way back when the Rams played the Chiefs on Monday night and the score was like 65-59, right? A buddy of mine were talking and he was like, man, I would love to see these two teams in the Super Bowl. And I was like, yeah, I would love to also, but I don't want to see this high scoring in a Super Bowl. But then when I watched yesterday's game, I'm like, man, I really don't want to see this type of game. But when you really break down this game, I feel like it was one of the better Super Bowls I've watched.
I agree, and I don't think a high scoring game or a low scoring game is bad. I think a blowout is bad, right? Like if the Patriots would have won that game 31-3, that's boring. But this one was a defensive struggle where you were like every possession, like
Matters.
you just got to squeeze out 3 points. You got to get something because the game is so close. Same thing on the other side, right? If we'd have gotten one of those 60, 65, 63 track meets, those are fun too because you're like, you have to score because if you give them the ball back and you didn't get a score, you're going to fall 2 scores behind and they're scoring every single time.
But the thing with those games is the defense, at some point during that Rams-Chiefs Monday night game, the defenses stopped playing, right? In a game like yesterday's, the defenses are still playing like defense while the offense is trying to really score.
See, I disagree with you. I think what's interesting about those high scoring games, usually what happens is the defense will make one play, and that'll be the difference.
Right.
And last night it was the same thing. The offenses were terrible. Not terrible. They were confused and stymied by the other team's defense. Both defenses played well. The Patriots obviously played better, but you just needed that one drive. You just needed to put a couple of plays together, and the Patriots did that towards the end. That got them to the end zone and really kind of put that game, in their control. And then,
both quarterbacks weren't that impressive to me.
No.
This ended up being a defensive game. Those secondaries played so good. The refs let him play. I'm sure there was missed calls, but from what I saw,
well, but even that, there wasn't.
No, there wasn't.
There weren't. How many pass interferences did we see yesterday?
I don't think there was one.
No. I don't think there was one. You're right. I agree. Most people will talk about the defenses in general. I think the secondaries, both coaches devised great schemes to slow the other team down. And again, I'm going to toot my own horn here. I said it last week. If the Rams can't run the football, Belichick's going to handcuff Goff, and they're going to be in trouble. They're going to have a hard time scoring. And that's exactly what happened. So the one controversial thing to talk about is Todd Gurley. So let's get into that part of this. What do you think the situation was with Todd Gurley yesterday?
I have no idea, and I don't think anyone else knows. My guess, I don't think he's hurt. I just don't think he's hurt. And if he is hurt, he's not that hurt because he was able to carry the ball 10 times. I said it last week. He is the Rams' playmaker. And for me, he had to be more involved for that offense to go. I just don't.
I agree with that last statement. I don't agree. I think he is hurt. I think there's something wrong there. He's got some kind of knee issue. I wouldn't be surprised if a few weeks from now we hear him having knee surgery of some sort, because it makes no sense. It made no sense 2 weeks ago in New Orleans, and it made even less sense yesterday in a close game where you needed to run the ball and give Goff time because Goff could not just drop back. The Patriots got an amazing amount of pressure on him, and you just had to have more out of Gurley. And you're right. I mean, look, he carried the ball 10 times. 10 times is not his average. It's well below his average. So I think there's got to be something wrong there.
I don't know. For me, it's, the lifespan of a running back is not very long, so I'm sure there's some type of trying to protect him, his health.
Not in the Super Bowl.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You may not get there again.
I can't.
You may not get there again.
I can't believe that McVay tried it. If that's the case, I don't believe for 1 second that Gurley had a minor injury, a very minor injury,
right?
And McVay thought, well, I'll use him less, and we can still win this football game.
Right.
I can't believe that.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I just can't believe that they didn't even run any screenplays for him.
Yeah.
I mean, that would have been a good play. Run those a few times. He gets wide open and he can break a run and kind of get that offense going. But that offense never got into a rhythm.
No, nothing.
And the 10 times that Gurley ran, the offensive line really didn't do a good well of blocking.
Yeah, I mean, C.J. Anderson didn't get a whole lot of yards per carry either.
No, he didn't do much.
I mean, look, the Rams, I want to say they had 240 yards of total offense. And they only had I think they only had like 60 yards rushing.
Yeah.
It was just look. We can go back and forth on this, and I actually had this discussion with someone at work. Did the Rams lose or did the Patriots win? I always tend to be of the opinion that a team wins, not a team loses. Not at this level, not at this point. And so, as much as I think Gurley was hurt and it kind of hampered things, I'm not going to take any credit away from the Patriots defense. That was a great game plan. They did an unbelievable job. And the other thing that we have to remember is the Rams were missing their number one receiver, and it showed. Brandon Cooks was the only guy catching balls last night.
Who is their number one?
Cooper Kupp.
Oh, Cooper Kupp.
So now no one has noticed because they've done well without him, but I think it finally showed last night. And the Patriots just did a masterful job of disguising coverages. And you know what? Quite frankly, the Rams did too, because Brady looked confused at times.
Oh, yeah.
And he threw some balls completely out of whack. That first interception, you could see him try to pull it back, but it was too late, and the ball came out of his hand. I don't know if you saw it, but I mean, it looked like a duck. And that guy was going to straight pick it off. And lucky for the Patriots, Hogan got his hand in there so that he didn't pick six it, but then it fell into the hands of the linebacker.
Right.
And that was the interception. So both defenses did a masterful job, I thought.
Yeah, no, I agree. But it's kind of funny how, we think of the NFL new era, right? Young coach, high-powered offenses, and the Super Bowl just gave us the exact opposite. The Patriots defense shutting down a high-powered offense in a low, like a 16.
And the Rams defense doing a good job against the Patriots.
No, they played well too.
I mean, because
really, I honestly
think about it. That game, but for one drive where the Patriots strung together 4 plays in a row to get down to the 1 and eventually go into the end zone. That's a 6-3 game.
Yeah.
I mean, you only give up 6 points in the NFL, you're winning 95% of your games. So the Rams did a great job on D. Wade Phillips did a great job, I thought, yesterday.
Honestly, for me, both secondaries stood out to me.
Oh yeah.
The secondaries, and then the defensive line for the Patriots was just a tad better than what the Rams were.
Yeah, they got to Goff more than the Rams got to.
Yeah, well, they had 4 sacks, and I think the Rams only had 1.
Yeah,
and it wasn't, and neither one was by Donald or Sue.
They did a great job of containing Donald, and we talked about this last week. I thought that Bill Belichick would find a way to deal with Donald in the middle.
Yeah.
And basically what he did was he said, you know what? We're going to double team this guy every time. And I think he double teamed him on damn near every play. The one time I think he didn't double team, the one time I saw that he didn't double team him, he turned around and ended up tackling the running back from behind for only a 3-yard gain when it looked like he was going to bust it to the outside and go for a good 10, 15 yards.
Where the hell did McCourty come from? Jason McCourty?
Devin McCourty.
Devin McCourty? Where the hell did he come from on that play? Because he was nowhere near
in the end zone?
Inside of my screen of my TV.
In the end zone?
Yeah.
Well, that was a terrible pass by Goff. He floated that thing way too much. Right. To his credit, or in his defense, I should say, most of the time you float that pass. But he was so wide open, you should have zipped it. And he had the whole end zone to play with. He could have been off to the right a little bit more, or to his left a little bit more. And Brandon Cooks could have, just because Brandon Cooks was standing there.
But I mean, McCourty just came out of nowhere. I mean, he got great speed. Like, what the heck?
He did the same thing the Rams cornerback did to the Saints, only he didn't get there early. He got there just in time.
Just in time.
Just in time. That's the way it goes. And so now you've got Tom Brady with 6 Super Bowl rings. He's working on the other hand, man. That's
pretty impressive.
That's
man.
Incredible when you think about it.
Really, Tom Brady just makes the necessary throws in the Super Bowl. Because I mean, if you look back at all his Super Bowls, he hasn't played well in the Super Bowls. And last night was probably his worst played Super Bowl.
Oh yeah.
And he made that one throw down the seam to Gronk in crunch time when he needed it most.
Yeah, I mean, well, like I said, really that entire drive, they strung together the plays. And they ran the same play 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
After the second time, the Rams are like, there's no way they're running that play again, so let's do something else. And they ran it again, and that pass was perfect, right down the seam. The other pass that was perfect was the one by Goff to Brandon Cooks in the end zone. Not the one that McCourty came over and knocked out, but the one that he's running down the sideline and it goes through his hands.
I missed that one.
Late in the game, and then the next play is the interception.
Oh, okay. No, I missed that one.
So yeah, if you look at Brady's stat line, it's not bad. 21-35, 260 something yards, no touchdowns, and 1 interception. So not great. But it's just kind of the way the game unfolded.
Right.
Some of those misses just looked terrible. And the interception was terrible. He got completely fooled on that one. So it looked worse than the numbers show. But, the numbers, sometimes the numbers don't tell you the full story. But, again, that drive at the end was just...
Yeah, it was just all that was needed.
Yeah. And then, what do you think about the Rams going for the field goal there at the end? Needing 10 points.
You have to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to do it.
Yeah, try to get the ball
because
back.
If you try to air it out from 40 yards almost, you're gonna waste 3-4 seconds. Then you I mean.
I agree with the decision. Obviously, the kickers gotta make that. And they were. I don't know if you heard this, but on the broadcast, they were talking about him being automatic, and I'm like, there's the kiss of death.
Well, so was the Patriots guy.
Yeah, he missed one.
And he missed the first one.
It's kind of the way things go, right? I told you I was in a squares thing.
Yeah.
Guess what numbers I had?
What'd you have?
6 and 6. If those 2 Muppets make their field goals, the game ends up 16-6 and I win. Big.
Well, can't always have it your way. I once had 2-0.
I've never won a squares thing.
No?
No.
I've played plenty of times. I've just won once.
Really?
I had 2-0, and it was a Super Bowl with the Broncos and the Seahawks, and the halftime score was 22-0. Like $120, man.
Well, wasn't that the one with the safety?
Yes. Yeah. When the ball got hiked
Snap
over.
right out of the end zone.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I
So
know.
the safety. God.
That's right.
Talk about lucky. Did you make any prop bets?
Nah, no prop bets. No, I don't like prop bets.
Well, they're a scam.
I mean,
I
I like to wage. So I'm prop bets.
The prop bets don't do it for me. I like seeing them all, but it's like, whatever.
There was controversy with the anthem supposedly because, God damn it, Gladys Knight.
Yes.
Okay, she said "brave" twice.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, and so there was like, I think one sports book was like reluctant to
pay out
pay
the
out.
over.
I guess they were, look at what's it called?
Looking into it, retiming it.
I guess so. That's crazy.
That's hilarious.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I heard somewhere that the whatever casino does all the props, or the main casino that does them, I think it's the Mirage out in Vegas. 450 prop bets.
Golly.
That's got to be a humongous moneymaker for Vegas, because man, most people don't even know the words to the national anthem, let alone how long it's supposed to be.
I wonder what's the percentage of those prop bets hit.
I bet
it's got to be under 15.
Oh no, it's more than that.
You think it's more than that?
But I bet you. If I had to guess, I'd guess like 35%.
Yeah. No. Okay. Next Super Bowl, we're going through
450?
all 450.
Is it bet $1 on each one and see how much we win?
Yeah, that'd be a pretty nice wager.
Well, $450. We'll probably end up with $400. We'll lose $50 on those stupid bets. Well, did you agree with Edelman being the MVP?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, he had 10 catches and 120-something yards. I thought Michelle was going to get it.
Really?
Especially when he scored that touchdown.
It was a 1-yard run.
Doesn't matter. He ran for over 100 yards. So, I mean,
No, he didn't.
Sure he did.
No, he didn't.
You sure?
Positive. No one on the Patriots had over 100. Look it up.
I am going to look it up.
Look
Who else are you going to give it to?
I've heard some people complaining.
Hightower, the linebacker.
What did he do?
Shit, he had a sack and like 4 tackles or something.
That's nice.
I mean,
I just don't know who else you give it to. You can't give it to Brady.
You give it to freaking Belichick.
I mean,
who else, I don't know who else you give it to.
The defensive coordinator? Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know who else you give it to. Once the game was over, I thought it was a no-brainer that it was Edelman, but I've heard people complain about it, and I'm like,
I think the people were complaining because he was suspended for 4 games to begin the season and
for PEDs.
Yeah, but someone made a good point on the radio. Nobody, and I mean nobody, even remembered that before the game.
Yeah, everyone brings.
So
it up
everyone
after
brings
the
it up after. Look. I understand all the hate for the Patriots. I totally do. And I'm half and half. Okay? I'm one shoe in, one shoe out. I don't hate them, but they're annoying to me. Okay? And while, yes, I believe that they cheated long ago, how the hell do you explain these Super Bowls 3 out of 5? How do you explain that? I mean, how do you explain it? They have just been dominant. I mean, what else can you say about it?
In a league where the rules are set up for basically for everyone to go 8-8, it's incredible that a team can year after year be above 8-8. It's amazing. It is amazing, and they had they've got Spygate and Deflategate, and look. I personally think that every team does their fair share of shenanigans. They do as much as they can get away with. Do the Patriots do more or less? I don't know. I would have to say yes because they've been busted twice. But do I know that for sure? No. And do they have some built-in advantages being in the worst division in football? Yeah. But at the end of the day, they win.
He had 94 yards.
So no one had 100.
No one had 100. I thought he had 100.
That's what I told you. I said no one had 100.
Edelman had 100.
He had more than 100. Look, I don't see who else you give it to. Edelman had most catches in a half. He made a bunch of big first down catches on third down. I thought he was. I thought he was the MVP. I mean, it's weird that in a defensive struggle like that, there's not a defensive player that comes to mind to give it to, right? Like you would think that this is a Super Bowl where you give it to some linebacker or some lineman or secondary. Right? We're talking about how great the secondaries play. You know, the secondaries, they should almost get a, if we are correct that there was not one pass interference call, the freaking secondaries, both of them should get MVP. I mean, that's amazing in today's game.
Yeah,
to have no pass interferences.
That's hard to do.
That's amazing. And you know, the Rams, for as much maligned as Marcus Peters was, he played a good game.
He did a quiet game too. It felt like.
Well, that's what made it a good game. His guy wasn't open, and he wasn't committing pass interference. That's why we didn't hear his name a whole lot. That's the way it should be.
And when you think about all that, and then you think about who won the MVP, a receiver who doesn't even have the attributes of of a primetime top 5 receiver.
Yeah. Who not the biggest name on the field.
A quarterback in college.
Like if you think of anyone who catches the ball getting the MVP last night, you would have thought Gronkowski.
Yeah,
right. That's the biggest pass catcher of them all in the game, right? Because Brandon Cooks is not quite to that level. Edelman's obviously not. The other guy that the Rams have isn't very good. Hogan isn't all that.
Yeah.
You would have thought if before the game we said someone who primarily catches the football wins the MVP, we all would have said Gronk.
Yeah.
And yet
I guess he could have won it. He had that big catch.
How many catches did he have? 3, 4? I mean,
he
didn't have that many.
He didn't have many.
Speaking of Gronk, you think he's done?
No, I think Brady
talks him in.
Absolutely. Because now at this point, Brady is going for number 7 without a doubt. He's going for number 7. He
said he's going to play. He said he wants to play 4 more years.
Right. He wants to get to 10. I think. No, I'm serious. I truly believe that him and Belichick have that goal
to get to 10,
to reach a number, as if 7, 8, and 9 aren't hard. I think that's their number, and
7 is too easy. We gotta keep going.
8, 9,
Oh, we're already up to 9. We may as well go one more,
or maybe 12, right? To pass Bill Russell. I don't know, but I really think that they have set that in their minds, but I think they get one more year out of Gronk. I think one more year out of Gronk.
That guy takes a beating.
Plus, I don't want to see him retire. I love all the shit that he says.
I love Gronk.
He's got a good attitude. Looks like he's freaking fun to party.
Is there anyone having more fun playing football than Gronkowski?
No.
I can't think of anyone.
Probably not. Have you seen his brother? He's got like 7 brothers. They were all on.
Have you seen his dad goes out and parties with him?
No, I haven't.
I've seen clips of his dad out partying with the I think
you're not confusing
3 or 4 boys.
You're not confusing the dad with Robert Kraft, are you? Because he can party too. Did you see him?
Cutting up a rug, dancing.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
I hope to move like that when I'm 80.
80. He's 103, bro. Robert Kraft is not a young man.
Yeah, he's old.
Yeah, I mean, if I could be cutting a rug like that at half his age, I'll be happy.
So what do the Rams need to do to get back to the Super Bowl next season?
Look, they are a young team for the most part. I think, I think that the NFC is going to have to contend with them for a while. I think Sean McVay is the real deal. I think he got outcoached yesterday, but hey, he was going up against Bill Belichick. So it's nothing to hang your head about.
Speaking of that, I was shocked to hear Sean McVay admit that he got outcoached. Usually you don't hear that from a coach.
Yeah.
And
I think that is exactly what is going to make him a good coach for a good long time.
Have you ever heard a coach say it? Like in any sport? I've never heard it.
I've never heard someone, he flat out came out and said,
Yeah.
I got outcoached.
Yeah.
There are coaches that will say, yeah, Bill Belichick had a great great game plan, blah, blah, blah. They'll never say they got outcoached. And I think that humility is what will make him great in this league for a long time. And look, they're going to be beasts in the NFC for a while. If Gurley can stay healthy, you got a top-level running back. Jared Goff, I don't think Jared Goff is I don't think he's a top 3 quarterback. I don't think we're going to talk about him like Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady. But I don't think he's out of the top 10. I think he can be that good. Is he there right now? Maybe. Maybe not. But, I mean, he's only going to get better, and he's got a great coach to work with. That offensive line could use some work. And then on the defensive side, the secondary probably still needs some help, right? Because Marcus Peters was a liability. Aqib Talib is not a young man, so they may have some issues there. But linebackers in line, I mean, I know Sue is getting a little bit long in the tooth, but, man, Donald is going to be the type of lineman that you have to specifically game plan for. He's going to be that kind of defensive player, like Lawrence Taylor, like Ray Lewis, like Richard Dent, like that kind of guy that you got to figure out what you're going to do about him.
And you have to double team more than half of the time.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Your game plan, you can't just go like if the Chiefs were in the Super Bowl. The Chiefs can't just go, yeah, we got a lights out offense. We're just gonna go do our thing. We have a lights out offense. We got to figure out this problem and then do our lights out thing.
See, I don't know that they're gonna get back to this because I feel like the Rams spent money to get to this place, right? To get to the Super Bowl and to win it, and that could be the biggest downer, right?
Yeah.
The year you go for it, that could be a Super Bowl hangover right there for that team.
Well, a lot of times it happens, right?
I could see that.
A lot of times it happens. You play 18, maybe 19 games, and you lose. So you do kind of have that hangover. It's not uncommon the year after the losing team from the Super Bowl the next year sometimes doesn't even make the playoffs, right? So it's certainly possible. The Gurley situation is what concerns me the most. Yeah. Cooper Kupp is going to come back, so they'll have decent receivers. The Gurley thing is really what concerns me the most from them from an offensive perspective, and then from a defensive perspective, look, you still have Aaron Donald, who's extremely disruptive. Sue's got another year in him for sure. He's extremely disruptive. You got a lot to work with still. And, if you still have Wade Phillips.
Man, he could have won MVP too. Fuck.
Yeah, it's just it is amazing when you think about how well they played defensively. And I don't know about you, but you could see the adjustments during the game. They were changing coverages. They were changing blitz packages. It was some high level stuff. And you're right. For people that are complaining about it being a boring Super Bowl, it's because you just don't like the game. Or you just like only a certain type of game.
Right.
But that game last night, it had it.
I thought it was good.
The offenses didn't play great, but that's not because they were fumbling the ball around.
Right.
Or just, Neil O'Donnell just throwing it to the other team. It wasn't that. The defenses just did a great job.
I agree. Did you notice the boos that the Rams came out from the locker room? I mean, that was borderline a home game for the Patriots.
Yeah.
And the amount of fans in the stands still at the game, obviously more than likely Patriots fans, I mean, was pretty noticeable.
Yeah. I saw a bunch of tweets on Twitter about the fact that it was like 10-1 Patriots fans over LA fans. And when the Patriots came out, it was noticeable. When the Rams came out, it was noticeable. Tom Brady mentioned it in the Super Bowl trophy presentation. So, how ironic that a former Jet handed over the Super Bowl trophy to the Patriots.
I mean, if I was a Jets fan, I'd be
pissed
off. I'm surprised Namath signed up for that.
Yeah, I mean, once you know, well, I would guess they.
I'd be like, hey, go give it to Dan Marino.
Yeah,
have Dan Marino walk it up.
Have Jim Kelly walk it up there. Jeez, but my guess is that they do that well in advance. I don't think they called them in the last 2 weeks and said, hey,
well, you notice it was Wilfork, Emmitt Smith, Namath. So Jim Kelly and Dan Marino cannot do it because they have not won Super Bowls. Sorry.
I see. That makes sense.
Right?
That makes sense. It was nice to see Joe Namath sober, not trying to kiss anyone.
You think he was sober?
He was more sober than the last time I saw him on TV. Remember that Monday night game where he was trying to make out with that sideline reporter?
I noticed the guys were touching the Super Bowl trophy, and he was...
Finally, at some point, he's
like, all right, come on, guys, let's go. And he started walking a little faster. The other two, Wilfork, I mean, he's a pretty big guy. He probably walks slow anyway. But Emmitt Smith, being a Hall of Fame running back, I mean...
He could have pounded right there. Could have grabbed the top of the trophy and ran through, right? Speaking of kissing trophies, did Tom Brady and Robert Kraft kiss when they hugged right there after the game? Did they kiss each other?
I didn't notice that.
You know, after the game,
I was completely sober, and I don't remember a lot of things that you're mentioning.
You obviously don't pay attention. After the game, Brady's on the field. He's walking around, congratulating some guys, but immediately, right, the reporter lady, Tracy Wolfson's there. Right. And he's got all this mob of people, and different players come up to him and hug him. And at one point, Robert Kraft comes up to him. Yeah, and I think he smooched him.
I don't.
Nothing wrong with it. I mean, so long as Giselle doesn't have a problem with it, and Robert Kraft's single, so he can kiss whoever he wants, right?
Well, I mean, whatever.
What? Robert Kraft's single, bro.
No, that's fine, but yeah,
he's a widow. He can if he wants to make out with Tom Brady.
Yeah, I don't want to see that shit on TV. But
I'm not asking you to see it. I'm just saying there's nothing wrong with it. He's single now. Tom Brady is different. He's married. He's spoken for. He shouldn't be kissing other dudes.
They shouldn't be kissing, period. But I didn't notice that, to be honest with you. I mean, how could you notice that? The mob of people. That was like really the most ridiculous thing right after the game.
I felt so bad for that. I felt so bad for Tracy Wolfson. She's like, Tom. And she's like, people are just pushing her out of the way.
I mean, let the guy breathe.
And she's tiny by comparison.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I was like, man, that sucks.
I mean, have some damn consideration, media people.
But, I mean, the cameras are all in his face. Is like, who are you showing that picture to? Like, how many pictures do you need?
It's going to be worth money one day. I'm sure they wanted to get pictures for what they were posting and probably for their own.
Oh, yeah. Amazing. But, again, just another wonderful Super Bowl. You got anything else on the Super Bowl?
No.
That's it?
No, that's it for the Super Bowl. That's it. Early prediction for next year? Who's going to win?
Patriots. You know, the betting favorite wasn't at the Super Bowl this year.
Wait, that what?
The betting favorite for next year wasn't at the Super Bowl this year.
So who is it?
Guess.
You know what? The matchup that I saw favorite is the Saints and the Texans for next year.
You were a year early.
No, I'm serious. Who is it?
The favorite to win the Super Bowl next year?
To win?
Kansas City Chiefs.
Too early to tell.
Hey, speaking of which...
Too early to tell. What?
What did we pick? I know you picked Saints and Texans.
I picked the Saints and Texans. You picked the... you picked the Patriots and the...
Did I pick the Patriots?
And the Packers.
That's right, because I thought the Packers were going to
and the Patriots won. You had the Patriots winning, no?
I don't know.
I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did.
Let's go. You keep talking.
I'm sure you did.
Go ahead. I'm listening to you.
If you guys didn't check out our NFL preview, you can do so. Check us out on YouTube, Podbean, iTunes, Google Play. Search up Positive Sports Podcast. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let us know how you're feeling. Let us know what you think. If you want to get a hold of me, I have no idea how you can do so. You can email the show, positivesports10@gmail.com. That's positivesports10@gmail.com. If you want to get a hold of Mr. Patriot himself, Ed, go ahead and do so on... No, we're not. On Twitter at eMontana21. And
I can't find
give him shit. Or give me shit. It doesn't matter. You picked the Patriots one. You had the Patriots winning. I'm sure.
Patriots and Packers. Yeah, I think you're right. I can't find it.
It was that matchup. So,
well, I guess I was right all along.
I guess. That was bullshit. Damn refs.
Hey, we'll get into this more next week, but real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Mavericks, Knicks, who got the better end of that deal?
The Mavericks, because the Knicks never do nothing right, and you can't really. It's hard to say right now. I think that trade should be evaluated more like a couple months down the line. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know what they got a bunch of cap space now. The Knicks do, and what do they do with that? Right?
I think the Knicks could potentially be not only the winner, but a big winner. Because you're right, they have cleared a lot of cap space. If they utilize that well, that's going to be a big plus. Not to mention they now have 3 first-round picks. They could package up 2 or 3 of them to move up a couple spots to get a better player.
They can't move up anymore. They are the worst team.
They are?
Yeah.
Worse than Phoenix?
As of now, I think...
yeah, they can't...
Yeah, no, they are.
They can't beat anything. They're terrible.
As of late last week, they had, for the time being, clinched the number 1 pick. Yeah.
Well, they haven't clinched it.
I said for the time, like at that, like it was like Wednesday or Thursday, bro. Like they're
in the driver's seat.
Yeah, so they are the worst team in.
They are ridiculously bad.
Or this could completely backfire, and if you can't get any free agents that want to come play together at the Garden, and you have to settle for some fucking mid-tier players that you have to dish out a ridiculous contract for. I mean, this trade could really be all or nothing for the Knicks.
Yeah, it could be catastrophic.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're making moves so that they have the cap space to not have it be catastrophic, but you just never.
And you can't even say that the Mavericks won the trade because the main player in the trade is not even playing this season. So,
I think long run, this is one of those trades where I think it's good for both teams. Like I think it's good for Dallas. The Dennis Smith situation was not going to resolve itself. He didn't get along with Luka. He didn't get along with Carlisle. He just didn't get along. And, they had to do something. And the fact that they were able to get good value for him is good. I mean, they got a pretty good player in Porzingis, I think. And for the Knicks, Dennis Smith didn't work in Dallas. Doesn't mean he's not going to work in New York. He may work in New York. And, like we mentioned, they cleared a lot of cap space so they can go get one of these big free agents. They have multiple first-round picks so that they could package that for another player if they want to do that. They have given themselves quite a bit of flexibility to vastly improve the team going forward. If they're able to do that in the offseason, I think the Knicks win the trade. So that's just one man's opinion.
Did you see what Kobe Bryant said about James Harden and that offense?
It can't be sustained. What did he say?
That offense, that style of offense will never win a championship. The Black Mamba has spoken. Thank you.
He's right. Bryant. He's right. When was the last time an all-offense, no-defense team won the championship?
The freaking Warriors.
No, that's not fair. That's not fair.
They were a lot more offense than defense.
Yeah, they play the game at both ends.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, it's not Nothing like the Rockets.
They do, but I mean, that's close. The closest you're gonna see to the Rockets style of 90% offense, 10% defense.
I think you're selling the Warriors short there. That's not nice.
I'm not selling them short.
Yes, you are. You're not nice. Episode 61. You got a famous 61?
I have no 61. You know what? I'm gonna.
Nate Newton is 61, isn't he?
I'm gonna channel my inner Rob Gronkowski.
He's 87.
61 minus 61 equals 0. For Podcast Zero, go check out that damn opening podcast and the rest of the Positive Sports Podcast episodes on YouTube, iTunes, Google Play, and I'm missing one. Podbean. Damn it! There you go.
Very good. I like that.
Did you didn't see his him breaking down the 69?
No.
Oh my god! Really? Okay, you need to go check it out.
You're gonna have to send it to me.
Yeah, I don't remember because there's too many numbers involved.
You know what's funny is when I think of 61, I can only think of Roger Maris hitting 61 home runs in 1961. So I'm gonna change it. It's our podcast. It's our rules. Fuck it. The number today is Roger Maris 61. How's that?
I think that's perfect because in my book, that's the real home run.
The real home run
record. That's right.
Even though Babe Ruth hit 60 in 8 less games?
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's not my problem. He played 8 less games. He shouldn't have pitched in some of them.
No. The season was shorter back then.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Was it? Oh, well. I'm not that old. How do you remember that? That's pretty good.
I don't remember it. I just know history.
Given your age, that's pretty good.
I'm surprised you remember. You got a shout out, my friend?
I sure do.
Go ahead. Please don't let it be yourself.
That's a great idea.
I'm so good on this podcast, I'm going to shout out me.
The next episode, I'm just... Hey, spoiler alert, I'm the shout out next one. No. The Giants, the New York Giants season officially ended Saturday. Actually, officially ended yesterday. The season is over. And thanks to Saquon Barkley, who is my shout out, won Offensive Rookie of the Year, and regardless of how the season went, it ended on a positive note. And what he did on the field was pretty amazing. I mean, he just put up some crazy numbers and jumping over 10-foot people. It was, really an amazing. I mean, the guy's calves are as wide as both of our heads put together.
Yeah, he's a solid dude.
So shout out to Saquon Barkley for winning Offensive Rookie of the Year and bringing home some hardware.
It's going to be exciting in New York to watch him going forward. I think he's going to be good for a while. So that's a good shout out. My shout out goes to Tony Romo because I can't believe how a guy has gone from just regular old announcer to like some kind of genie. I mean, it's amazing. Fans are just talking about how he's the smartest guy ever, the best football guy ever. And, quite frankly, he does a good job on the mic. And I thought over the last 2 weeks, it's been especially notable in his performance in the AFC Championship game and then again last night during the Super Bowl. He is really good. Someone is going to throw a lot of money at him to come coach, and I wonder if he'll do it. But as far as the announcing thing goes, he's got it. He's got it. He's good at it.
That's a good shout out, by the way. I much more prefer Tony Romo, the announcer, than Tony Romo, the Dallas Cowboy. But let's not forget, Tony Romo, I mean, put aside that he didn't win much in the playoffs or didn't win a Super Bowl, that freaking guy was a good quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got the numbers.
Yep.
I mean, he was really, really good. So... Yep. And I think we're seeing that translate over into him being an announcer. I mean, I could literally watch the game blindfolded and just listen to it, and I'll know what's going on.
Yeah, both of those guys last night were really good.
Yeah.
They were a good combo, and he was awesome. The last 2 weeks was just a lot of fun to listen to him during the game. So my shout out goes to him. I love that gig. That's got to be awesome. To be at the big games, announcing, telling people what's going on.
Bro,
is there a better job than that?
Bro, if I can do this all day long, podcast, if we could do this like 3 times a week and it'd be our job to like travel and study sports, talk sports and bullshit, fuck. That would be...
That's the point where you say, I'm never working a day in my life.
That'd be a thing of beauty.
I agree with you. Well, folks, with that, we've come to the end of another wonderful episode of the Positive Sports Podcast. We have been doing this for 1 full year. It has been so much fun, an incredible ride for my brother and myself. We're going to continue to do it. We got another year in us, I think. We signed a new deal with the Positive Sports Podcast, and we re-upped for another year, so we're going to keep going. We're going to try to bring you the best content we possibly can, have some fun, talk some smack, talk about sports, have fun with us. If you want to get a hold of us, you can email the show at positivesports10@gmail.com, positivesports10@gmail.com. If you want to get a hold of my brother, you can do so on Twitter at BrooklynGaucho1. And if you want to get a hold of me, you can reach me on Twitter as well at eMontana21. That's it.
It's a wrap.
Another one done. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you soon. Ignore the negativity. Be the positivity.
Peace.